I believe that if you're teaching history, deal with straight up facts, no mystery. Teach the students what needs to be taught, because black and white kids both take shorts.
Oh, it must be Black History Month up in this month.
You know, I was going to be bringing up the 1986 rhymes again, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. That's why you over there like Carter G. Woodstock.
hey, like John Henry Clark said, history is a current event. You know what I mean?
Okay. Coming in the game. Quoting Dr. Clark. Shout out to Dr. Clark. And Dr. Ben. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And we about to get it started up in here. What's happening?
It's Kamau K. Franklin.
Okay.
Rolling with.
Hey man, it's none other than Kalonji Changa, aka the rebellion starter.
Oh, you switched it up. I like that.
But today I'm starting a rebellion. Normally I start riots for your white friends, but today it's a rebellion.
Yeah, and I go by the name of the ear doctor, and we got
Minister Server.
Okay.
And it's your boy, Jai.
Okay, Jai interns in the building.
I'm saying.
And as always, Jai is high. No doubt.
he's high off life.
Hey, listen. Jai's high on life, y'all. I'm just saying. We always messing with that's our brother. Shout out to Jai. He's the most sober person in the room. Anyway.
A lot going on in the world.
Okay. So a whole lot going on in the world, man.
Yeah. I mean, the first thing, we want to talk about some topics that's been happening in the world.
Okay.
So we got this cop in Rochester, New York, who actually pepper sprayed a 9-year-old girl.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I saw that. So it's crazy because of the fact that her family allegedly called the police to, she was, I guess, what they consider unruly. You know what I'm saying? I guess parents aren't the same
and
these days.
They called the cops on her.
They called the cops on the little girl. Is that correct? That's about, yeah?
Yeah.
They called the police on the little girl.
On a 9-year-old.
And they're trying to get her in the car, and the cop decides to handcuff her and pepper spray her. Now, I want to say this so, for the police that's listening and all you other rat bastards out there, I'm going to tell you like this right here. Fuck with my babies is a misunderstanding. That's the bottom line. If I saw anybody pepper spraying a 9-year-old, I'm in it. So that's just that. So say what you want to.
Yeah. So and next up, we got just some crazy shit. Like over 1 million people. I don't know how crazy it is, but now at least over 1 million people have been vaccinated in Georgia for COVID. Okay. So those numbers are going high, so high.
I just saw a lady got a vaccination up in Gloucester, and I saw that she was vaccinated, and 6 hours later she transitioned.
Oh damn!
They're falling off.
Yeah, so I don't know.
That's a lot. They're not falling like one out of a million.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm saying like flies.
That's 1 out of a million now.
If that 1 out of a million is your black ass,
well, that's true.
Then you wouldn't be sitting there like, oh, it's just me, folks.
Yeah.
It's only me.
You and Hank Aaron.
Yeah, you and Hank Aaron.
That's not a good look. That's not a good look.
Anyway, Kamau, Frank, and Hank. Yeah. Anyway, we back at it.
I might get that.
What else is popping, man?
Yo, so your boy Biden is.
Who's boy Biden?
Your boy
that
Biden.
shit.
You know what I'm saying?
Fuck Biden. Okay. And Kamala. But anyway, go ahead.
That's true indeed, yo. So your boy is talking about these 1,400, not 2,000.
Okay.
But 1,400. Some people are saying that 600 already passed, so he's going to do the 1,400. But he's still saying now he's going to do the 1,400 and put some further restrictions on who may get the 1,400, even if they wind up passing it. So one of the issues is, of course, this dude was popping mad garbage beforehand.
Okay.
Give me your vote. Everybody's getting that $2,000 check.
Right.
Now, once he's in, he's like, well, maybe 1,400, maybe not as many people as before. So as always, folks like pull out all the stops to get you to go vote for some fool. Then once they get in, they backtracking like a mother. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the old white man in the tailpipe. Anyway, that's how they do. I mean, for those of you that was voting for him for those 2 stacks, that sorry. But anyway, aside from that,
we got some other shit. We got, I think Minister Server going to take the lead on this. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a congressperson.
Oh.
Right? What's going on with her?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's actually from Georgia.
Okay.
She's the Q&I congressperson.
Okay.
And she got put on the Education Committee and the Finance Committee, but the Democrats wasn't having it. Some of her old tweets came up when she was talking about murdering Nancy Pelosi and all kind of crazy QAnon stuff. But today, the House stripped her of all her Senate committees, so she's out of here. So again, but now she's still going to be in the House. You know what I'm saying? So again, even though she's not on the committees, she's still in the House. But it said she was elected by the people here in Georgia, North Georgia, which is crazy. But now we got to make sure that the people are holding her accountable for all the stuff that she's doing. It's a big eye on her. So fuck you, Marjorie Taylor.
Oh, damn.
All right. And that's straight from the minister. When the minister say fuck you, you know what it is for me.
Man of God.
If he say fuck you, if the man of God.
I was shocked by that.
I mean, shamalama zumalama. Anyway.
And then our last big topic that's been popping off now is it's been found out, I think, what's her name? Julie Jenkins Fancellini? What's her name?
Italian name.
Italian,
Fancellini.
yeah.
Hold up, Julie Jenkins.
I know, she's half black.
She got a Jenkins. She got Jenkins in there. She got a little Jenkins in there.
All white foles have black.
Every other night they got a little whatever. Okay.
But anyway, go ahead.
Apparently she's an heiress to the public's fortune, and she gave $300,000 to help pay for the rally, which was then became the overthrow to get Trump back in office. And now she's getting a lot of heat, and folks are talking about boycotting Publix.
Well, I'd like to say tonight, in honor of Publix, I would say that FTP stands for fuck the Publix and the motherfucking heiress. Julie, what the fuck is her name is?
Julie Jenkins. I got black in me.
Julie Jenkins, Catalini. Yeah. Well, it's cool. I mean, I don't really give a fuck because America's financed off of slavery and imperialism and all this other shit. So, I mean, that's what come with it. But I won't be shopping at Publix. To all the Publix workers, community movement builders will be hiring. Call my man Kamau and he'll put you on.
Yo, before we talk about the guests we got on, I'll give a shout out to our Patreon people.
Okay.
For this week, we got Gregory A.
What?
We got the Gregory A. We got Ethel Jamila Sinqueria.
Whoa, I got that name right.
Good God Almighty.
Good.
The ear doctor. Hey, man, listen, man. That hooked on phonics set we got you. That shit paying off, boy.
That was Morris Brown
Appreciate it.
Man.
Good looking.
Man, I'm proud of you.
Let's get to our guests and who we're going to have on tonight.
Okay.
So one of the main topics we're going to deal with tonight is Haiti, because the folks have been checking out news. Haiti is on fire.
Haiti's been on fire for quite a while.
Yeah, and it's reaching a level where, any day now things can kick off and things can get serious. And so we have Dr. Mamyrah Prosper, who's going to be with us tonight.
Okay.
She's from Haiti. We're going to do a further introduction, but that's going to be a main topic. And tonight we also have
our musical guest,
Mike Flo.
Yeah.
DJ Mike Flo will be in the building as well. And I want to point out, because of the fact that since we're talking about Haiti, which is a very important topic, and I'm glad that we're finally building on Haiti. We've talked about the Congo and a number of other different places throughout our tenure.
Yeah.
But right now there are 230 anti-government protests around the world. You know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, when you watch World News Tonight in America, it don't really contain the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, so we want to really start to get into that shit. Every week, I think that we should really dedicate ourselves to giving a few minutes to some of these different uprisings that's going on, because there's brothers and sisters that's putting in a lot of soldier work out there.
That's right.
And all we hearing about is Black Lives Matter in America. And
Cardi B and everything else.
Fuck all that. We don't care about your silhouette challenge or any of those other drop it like it's hot, whatever the fuck you call it. You know what I'm saying? Keep your nasty ass clothes on and let's deal with this revolution.
The
fuck I'm talking
But anyway, we're going to be right back. Renegade Culture.
Yeah.
Peace and much love. I am Minister Server, right here with your Blackstery. Y'all know who this is? This is Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Now, he is the father of black history. Dr. Carter G. Woodson was one of the first black people to graduate from Harvard. In 1915, he did the first black journal documenting the accomplishments of Negroes in the United States of America. Now, in 1926, he began Negro History Week as a project for Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Now, later on, it was turned to Black History Month. Now, people always say, well, why we get the shortest month of the year? Well, Dr. Carter G. Woodson chose the month of February because of two people that he admired, Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, whose birthdays both in the third week of February, which is when Negro history started. So listen, don't fall for the hype about the shortest month. Learn your Blackstery on Renegade Culture. Word.
What's happening, Renegade Cultures in the building?
Yeah.
Tonight we talking about some very Hot topics
Some heavy things that's happening in the world.
around the whole planet.
Particularly in Haiti.
Yes.
And so we want to really start off by introducing our guest tonight, Mamyrah Prosper, who is, I should say, Dr.
Mamyrah Prosper. Wait,
doctor, the good doctor.
Two doctors in a row.
Yo, we coming up.
Last week, doctor got us in the newspaper.
Oh, true,
Yeah.
true.
We're banned by the white folks. But go ahead.
So let me a brief introduction. This sister is has a PhD in global and social cultural studies with a concentration in cultural anthropology. She's also an assistant professor of Africana Studies at Davidson College. And most importantly, she is the director of the Pan-African Solidarity Network with an organization called Community Movement Builders. Without further ado, Sister Mamyrah Prosper. How are you doing, sis?
Dr. Mamyrah Prosper.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I don't even think you like him as somebody calling you
I'm
sister.
the coordinator. I prefer that.
And for a coordinator, she doesn't like the hierarchy.
Yes.
I don't think she likes it when you call her sister either. I called her sister one time. She gave me the strange look.
You just called her sister.
I know, but my bad.
Hey, that sweater's adorable though.
The sweater.
She dressed up for our show.
The man said the sweater is
said
adorable.
adorable.
I've never heard. He's so sweet.
I got a crush on
That's the same
you.
person who's been calling me Miss and Ma'am.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They was calling you
That's
that.
right.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So anyway.
Yeah, so let's get down to, this is really, there's a lot going on in Haiti. And some of this, it feels like, there are no heroes, with some of sort of the top line news. So I want to get into just, for you, just to tell people in general, what is happening now. We know there's a strike happening. We know the president is, I think, refusing to leave office.
Yes.
And then there's been a rash of kidnapping by gang members, which has been associated murders and rapes.
Yes.
So can you talk to us, and you just got back from Haiti not too long ago, can you talk to us about what's happening on the ground right now?
About the real black Trump that's out there. It's worse than
Right.
Trump.
Actually, so I wanted to first, since you guys brought up Biden, talk about, what he's doing in relation to Haitians specifically. Just on Monday, deported a bunch of folks to a country that we know, as you said, right, is on fire. So, I just wanted to, also echo the fuck Biden sentiment.
All right. Yes.
But anyway, yeah, so specifically what's going on in Haiti more immediately this week, February 7th is an important date for Haitians. February 7th, 1986 is the day that essentially we overthrew the dictatorship of the Duvalier. So it became sort of a symbolic date for a president to take office in Haiti. So that's the deal with the date. Now, the specific issue is that Jovenel Moïse, who's the current president, right? The opposition, including folks on grassroots folks, think that his term should end February 7th, 2021. He and his party argue that they should end February 7th, 2022. And all of that is around the whole, when did his term actually begin? And his term, he actually started being officially the president in 2017 because the 2016 elections were contested because people took to the ground then, right, to say this is not the person we actually voted into office. So already the beginning of his term was contested, right, that folks didn't want him. And I think there's a way the news, a little bit of news coming out of Haiti or talking about Haiti really makes it look like it's between the opposition and this party, right? And erases the grassroots, people-based movements, right, that are happening that even make the opposition have power on the ground, right? Bodies got to show up, and it's not the opposition that's really pulling them out, Folks are out there for all the reasons that I think you're pointing to every time you say, right, rebellion, revolution, that they're living in a shithole, right? And then they want to challenge racial capitalism and how that affects their lives, right? So like you said, Kamau, there's no hero emerging that anybody can sort of encroach, or hitch their wagon to, whatever that expression is in English, right? There's no one figure. Moïse Jean-Charles, sort of a spin-off of Aristide, very populist. He does shit like show up on a horse, dressed up like revolutionary leader at protests. But he was deeply embedded in parliament and has gained some riches that nobody know where it came from, right? So there is no real figure emerging out of this, like the person that we in the international, I guess, should look to. And I think maybe that's a good thing, because we're always looking for that messiah, that leader, and we put a little too much on them and we forget about all the people who do the work on the ground. But anyway, so this is the big issue this week. And it's really a culmination of 2 years of protests where folks were already asking him to leave power.
Can you talk a little bit about the gang issue, because we spoke about that earlier, and it's really become now significant. Can you talk about who these gangs are and what the actions that they have taken, and who's supporting them, or how did they get their weapons and so forth?
Right. Well, one of the things about what's happened over the years is as protests have increased, right, the state has to perfect its, apparatus of repression, right? So besides obviously unleashing the police on protesters, and, there are record numbers of people shot to the head, right? They're not in the hundreds, but there's several dozen political prisoners so far, right? But one of the ways that the state has unofficially, right, if we think about even in the States, right, how white vigilantes operate as, right, extra legal, right? They're not part of the state, but the state gives them cover, right, and power to do what they do with impunity, right? So this is why folks are linking the gangs to the state, right? If you're supposed to have control over your borders, you can't tell me that you have 600,000 illegal guns just floating around. Like, where did they come from? How do you even know that there's 600,000, right? And who's bringing them in? And I think one of the things I brought up with you, Kamau, is all these years when Haiti, right, is burning, and the images that we're getting, right? Development projects, quote unquote, are moving forward, right? Those things have not stopped, right? And so the gangs are also very important in terms of, right, keeping people terrorized, so folks are not also seeing all that is happening around them. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that they've done is kidnap folks, right? And they're not kidnapping all the people we already know are rich. Like, everybody in Haiti knows there's 8 families who have all the money, yet not one of them is being, right, kidnapped. And it's just the regular folks. I can't even call them middle class folks, right? They're working class folks, perhaps, who speak a little French, right, who are being kidnapped and being asked for hundreds of thousands of US dollars that I can't even put together, right? And most of the people being targeted are women, single women, right? Particularly if they're out alone. If you're driving a car, you're most likely to be a target as well, right? And they're raping them, and sometimes not even waiting for the ransom, right? So there's a way, right? And we've seen this used over and over by dictatorships. And, you rape the women, you silence them, but you also silence their families, right? The men and their families and everybody else, right? Gets terrorized, because that's the price you pay for, right, saying anything. And the one of the major moves that folks feel is clearly pointing to the state being involved in these gangs and the kidnappings is 2018 November in a La Saline neighborhood known for its militancy, right? So if people are out there protesting in Port-au-Prince, La Saline is there. And it's still very much a big Aristide base. And, Kamau will know I'm not going to be like, Aristide is like the answer and the messiah, right? But I recognize that he's powerful still today, right? In terms of people seeing him as, right, he could have been the answer. But anyway, these folks that were targeted, La Saline, the guns that were distributed, it's even the UN report, right? So I'm talking about white people's report, have pointed to the Haitian state and high, dignitaries in high places having given money for the guns, right, paid the gangs, and also asked the police to stay away because this massacre happened in the middle of the day. 71 people, 11 women raped, and it's not just that they killed them, they chopped their bodies parts and they piled them out like on top of trash, right? So those are clear signals when those kind of things happen. And right, investigations show you clearly that the state or parts of the state has nothing to do with it. There's never an investigation 2 years later, right? And the state said nothing, as if this shit never fucking happened, right? And so I think that these are the things that people are pointing to. If you're hearing that folks are saying, these gangs are related to the state, right? There's no clear, chain of command that Moise said, do this, right? But if you are supposed to be, and Moise has said in November 2020, after God, he is next, right? In terms of who rules this land. So then I guess the guns are also, right, your responsibility.
That's right.
And I'll stop there because I think you'll ask some other questions and I can
So
I'll keep going.
Maurice makes Trump look like cannon fodder, huh?
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
and it's crazy because of the fact that you ask the average African in America about what's going on in Haiti, and they're clueless about what's going on. Throughout the years, there's been serious political corruption in Haiti. There's been, I believe, last year there was a political assassination, right up in the House, I believe, and I can't think of the name of the place. Was it Parliament or?
Oh, you're talking about the lawyer.
Yes.
It was the lawyer. I'm not sure what the equivalent. He's like the chairman of whatever bar association.
Yes, Dorval or something like that.
Dorval, exactly. And he was basically murdered. This is the speculation, right? And there's no investigation going on presently. He lives like down the block from where the president's,
Right.
residential house is, right? And he was over the years challenging saying that the president was unconstitutional, that he was essentially ruling all by himself because there's no parliament and ruling by decree, right? So he's just passing executive orders over and over again. And this guy was basically, challenging him on television, right? All over the press and saying that everything that this party is doing is essentially unconstitutional. And they couldn't have none of that, going on. So, he was murdered at his house, in front of his house, yeah.
What would you say the connection between U.S. imperialism and Haiti? What's the, is it clear cut? How does the masses of
I'm just gonna have to make a move. We gotta call it. It's just a colony of the United States, right? That entire Haitian economy is designed to fit U.S. interests, point blank, right? So, we don't get to have passports, and we get deported back to that, to that land. But there's nothing that happens in Haiti that Washington hasn't decided, right? And you can see. And this might work for Kamau's, sympathies, right? When Aristide, right, when there was like brief 2-3 months of protests, like dude was gone. Moise has been protested from the fucking beginning, 2016, and then he's still here. He's still here, right? So it's clear that the U.S. Has a hand in it, right? They keep coming out with statements, applauding the democratic efforts of this current president, right? They're always issuing statements. They're celebrating with him at every turn, whatever fucking national holiday there is, right? They clearly support.
In fact, you said, I think the Black Caucus also came out with a letter of support for Maurice in terms of staying in office longer. Is that correct?
Well, yeah, I have to look closer at the signature, right? But that, there are efforts by Haitian American elected officials, right, to say something. And I've said this maybe to you, come out in our conversations, that Haitian Americans in New York specifically, elected officials have been, maybe if they're progressive on some immigration stuff, they say it. That in fact, like they were folks who invited, for example, the grandson of Duvalier to come speak, in Albany, New York, right, capital of New York, on Haitian Flag Day, where he got to talk about how his father was an exceptional statesman, right? And so you have the Haitian American community very much because they're caught up in, that sort of Black excellence, we're moving on up thing mentality, that they see Haiti very differently in terms of what they're going to support, right? And they're pro-capitalism. They're pro-making that shit look like Miami, right? And wanting to come in and be the big bosses, of course, right? Because they are, unfortunately, are imperialists. Because what the thing about the U.S. and what is understood now after occupying so many of us Black people in the Caribbean is that, you send in your proxies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When Bill Clinton showed up in 1994 with ICE, he showed up with a bunch of like Black, Haitian American people and the U.S. troops to make sure that shit was like, didn't feel like some white supremacist invasion to us, right? And I was there in the country. I was a kid, but I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
In 2004, when the UN occupies Haiti, they send the Brazilians. And they start out, the occupation with a friendly soccer match between the official national soccer team of Brazil and the national soccer team of Haiti, right? And they're like, look, it's all the other Black people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this can't possibly be a military occupation, right? And so the U.S. isn't always directly there, right? Though they are, because, it's said to be that the U.S. Embassy in Haiti is the 4th largest in the world, the largest in the American region, right? And you're like, what the fuck are you guys doing here, right?
Mm-hmm.
U.S. troops are permanently on Haitian ground.
Mm-hmm.
Permanent. They're just already there.
So let's stop there. And so when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the history of Haiti and why it's so important to the Americas to control Haiti. Actually, Haiti being the only successful slave revolt in the first African republic. So we're going to come back with more information and conversation on Haiti as soon as we get back. Renegade Culture.
Kubetet Boule Kai. We in the building. Renegade Culture. Fuck what you heard. Burn this motherfucker down. Cut the head off. Let's go.
Oh, what?
No, you had it right. You flipped it.
I did. Cut off the head. Burn the house.
Bulekai.
I didn't say that?
Ah.
Okay.
You just flipped it.
Ah, okay.
He can barely speak English,
I'm Boule High right now, so edit that shit.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah, so.
We like him for a snappy comeback.
Yeah, matter of fact, let's start that shit over.
No, that was good.
No,
Leave that
we
in there.
talking
What's wrong with
Okay,
you?
well, fuck it, I'm good.
There you go.
Anyway.
No, we back with our sister, Mamyrah Prosper, Doctor Mamyrah Prosper, the good
You're
doctor.
right.
And she's breaking down the situation that's happening in Haiti right now. And one of the things that we touched upon at first, when you get a little bit more into, is that there's been a call for a general strike in Haiti, which is happening now. Obviously, it's related to the president. So you gave a little bit more details about who's calling the strike and what people expect to try to get out of it.
Right. So the expectation is what folks have wanted since January 2019, when they finally said we want this president out because he refused essentially to allow the trial or even an investigation into the Petro Caribe scandal, right, which is the money that the state, his party, when they were in power, right, the first round stole about $2 billion of Venezuela's, very generous loans. And we could talk about that if you want. But essentially, right, folks already wanted him out. And this date is coming up, right? And people have sort of used it as another opportunity to do another wave of protests to get him out, right? Mm-hmm. And this is also important because he's ruling on his own, and then he's also calling now for a new constitution, right? That would extend the rights of the president, right? That would allow more foreign investment, right? Because this has been since Dessalines, right? Different heads of state have always been a little careful about the whole allowing, right, non-Haitians coded for, whites coming in and buying land, right? And controlling our resources, right? And so this constitution is a move. Many people behind it are Haitian Americans, for example, who now have U.S. passports, right? They have U.S. Trade partners, if you will, right? So there's these interests about changing the constitution. And folks are like, how are you calling it an election that you're completely controlling, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody who's even on the electoral committee to organize the damn thing. You're doing it on your own. You want to change the constitution, right? So everyone, he's been at it for these 4 years, right? So every couple of months, there's another general strike. This is not the first one. Mm-hmm. There have been several different ones that have been called, right? And perhaps been more successful. I frankly think people on the ground are a little burnt out. And I think the last couple of months, 2020, of like kidnappings and rapes and murders have really, slowed people down a bit. There's been continual attacks, not just La Saline, but another important, militant neighborhood in Port-au-Prince, Bel Air, they're constantly being attacked, right, by the gangs, where you have images of white women running out there, leaving their homes with children on their arms, right, and spilling out into the streets. So there's been a little bit of a burnout, I think, on the part of the movements, and this is another wave of it, but I don't think it's anything like it was in 2018. Frankly, I told my comments, I was like, you guys seem way more optimistic than I can feel, right, the energy or momentum towards really pushing this guy out, right? Mm-hmm. I'm presently translating some note right now, where it's like, we demand that he leaves type of thing, but I'm not confident that that's going to happen, because I think that the amount of energy people put out there for the last 2 years, which is exponentially greater than what they had to do to get Aristide out, and he was able to leave in a couple months. I just don't think this guy is going to really be ousted, and he's really figured out how to have full control over the space. Right? We have the army is back. Right? This is the army that Aristide disbanded in 1994 because it was the army that led his coup d'état. It was the same army that was under Duvalier. It was the same army that was trained by the U.S. when the U.S. was occupying Haiti back in 1915, right? Mm-hmm. So you have essentially this army brought back, and what is the army fighting fucking foreign troops? Like, all the foreign troops are already in the country. So who are you fighting, right? Who are you getting all these tanks for and all these military grade weapons to fight? And it's clearly not the gangs, because they're able to run the space as they want, right? So who are you preparing to fight? So it's clearly the Haitian people, right? It's clearly, right, the actual citizens of the place. Because the police isn't going out there. Everybody, the gangs are posting on fucking Facebook and Instagram. like they're posing with their guns, and we know where they live. They had a march 2 weeks ago against kidnappings and hard life in Haiti. And the police secured their march. And when regular protesters, right, grassroots folks show up, they get shot at and thrown tear gas, right? So I feel that, it's clear to some of us putting all this together, right? Like who the gangs are. But I just think that the momentum is a little broken. I don't think the general strike has the amount of power that it had 2 years ago to shut down the place.
Mm-hmm. When you talk about U.S. involvement, from troops to propaganda to funding the whole nine, we know that in the past they've used different entertainers to creep into the areas to make sure that the popular vote comes along. That goes from the U.S. to Cuba, sending Jay-Z and Beyonce down that way as far as the government, and even in Haiti with Wyclef Jean. Can you talk about Wyclef's involvement in Haitian politics? Because we know that he has a relative down there that was instrumental in keeping this fiasco going a few years back.
Well, at some point, Wyclef was a candidate, or was trying to be a candidate for presidency. This is the same time that the first Michel Martelly, who himself also is an entertainer. There's something about, all these entertainers rising to power around the same time. Michel Martelly kind of reminds me of Trump, in terms of some of the lewd stuff that he says, particularly about women. But, Wyclef was there briefly. He actually got shot.
Yeah, I remember that. I was happy to see he got shot. I mean, I was like, that's all right. His music sucks. He sucks.
Tickled me slightly. And then he came back to the States, and there's an article that came out about how he's going to go to Brown and go learn more about Haiti. Like, after you were running for presidency? I'm a little confused, right? But I don't know that his role is much greater than that, honestly, since. And, speaking of entertainers, Moise welcomed in the north of Haiti a couple months ago, and I know you must have seen this, like, there's mad memes of Kanye dancing.
No.
Yeah. You must know this. Kanye came to Haiti like a couple months ago, and there's a million videos of him doing little, Haitian dances. And I guess he's being invited in to sort of do the Akon project for Senegal. Like, he's going to do some I don't know, Kanye Village in north of Haiti. I'm not really sure. It's not, we haven't found out quite yet what all the plans are. But there was a lot of, welcome to the first Black Republic treatment, ironically, for Kanye, right? But there's definitely, I'm not sure all that's going to turn out.
So I mean, some of this might be obvious to people who are well informed, but for folks who don't know enough about some of the history, it seems, obviously the U.S. has particularly targeted Haiti, the U.S., Europe, to continue to make sure that Haiti doesn't strive or Haiti's not free. And I would say it's targeted even more so than other Caribbean nations or other similarly situated nations. Maybe except for in some ways Cuba, but maybe even more than Cuba since it's been around for so much longer. What do you, like the sort of the origins of let's say white supremacy being antagonistic to Haiti to this day? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I do this with my students, and they're like, "Oh my God, you're going too far back in history." But I'll say I won't go too deeply in it, but to say at least right that in 1804, what Haiti does, right, what the enslaved and marooned people, and even the free blacks, right, and they were there, they're problematic, talk about them too, right, but they got together, right, and overthrew colonialism, slavery, at a time in which, right, this is the world order, right, Africa's under occupation, right, Africans are being kidnapped and shipped over to the other side of the world. Everywhere else that there's a Black person, right, there's formal slavery, right, legalized. And so what Haiti does is not exceptional because we know Black people have rebelled since the minute we were kidnapped, right, from the village to the boat, every single moment. There are specific circumstances that make the Haitian Revolution possible, successful, right? And so what happens at the time is that, this is the only Black independent nation state. And the U.S. has, right, millions of enslaved Africans. The U.S. hasn't established diplomatic relations with Haiti till 1862, right? So we know it's about to be, right, that Civil War moment, right? And so that's 60 years almost of Haiti existing. The U.S. was trading, because, they'll do that. They still traded with Haiti. Haiti essentially experienced a blockade, nevertheless, where they were only supposed to trade with France. France imposed a debt on Haiti in 1825 and said, you have to pay us back for lost property, AKA all Black people, right, that were no longer slaves. So you have from the beginning of Haiti's history, right, saddled with debt, not recognized diplomatically, right, by the European powers, because they're really the only ones free, quote unquote, in the space, right? And so it's shutting it out. And so there's, that's happening all of the 19th century. And by the time that you're turning into the 20th century, the U.S. now, right, is feeling itself, it's feeling its power, it's wanting to push out and become a real empire, occupies the Caribbean, occupies Haiti, occupies Dominican Republic. They were already in Cuba, they were already in Puerto Rico, right? And so most folks studying, right, Haiti have to zoom out and look at Haiti within the region, within the Americas, and the role that it plays, not only as a challenge to white supremacy, but because of this challenge, making sure that Haiti stays at the bottom. You have to have a bottom, right? That's how you drive prices down, right? Wages down. If you want to pay, there's a quote from Bill Clinton talking about some factory he helped put in Haiti, and he says, I know 20,000 Americans would kill for this job, right? So there's obviously, right, capitalists are thinking about all of us as, workers, right? And just situating us in our different positions depending on if you're a citizen or not, right? If you're Black or white, or right? And in Haiti, there has to be a bottom. There has to be a place where the minimum wage is the lowest, right? In order to justify the hierarchy of wages. Does that make sense? Like there's a multiple roles at Haiti, but also militarily, diplomatically. Like Haiti's been used since, 2004, when the UN came to occupy the country, when they ousted Haiti the second time, right? Has come to be an important military, diplomatic, not in U.S.-Venezuela relations, right? U.S. has always been fighting against any forms of non-capitalist, anti-capitalist, right, governments. and Haiti became, right, if Haiti is the poorest site, the site with the least, right, sort of state that actually wants to, develop the place, because that's also that, right? I know we give a lot of shit to US for crushing Haiti, but a lot of us, when I put on my Haitian hat, I'm like, but fuck these niggas up here who are supposed to be like running this and actually protecting us, right? The same way we talk here in the States about the Black misleadership, you have all these folks, right, who have control of the country and who over and over again sell it. They sell it over and over again. And by the way, for like scraps, right? Because like white people are making the billions and then you just got cut off, $1 million check and you got a cute house. Like seriously, right? And so I don't want to make it seem like the US is just smashing us completely without also acknowledging that there are a set of us in Haiti, right? The elites, so I'm talking about the oligarchs, the big merchant capitalists, and a whole bunch of sort of, I don't know how else to make money, but to come loot the state folks, right? Who are controlling the space, right? And who are benefiting from US imperialism, including these Haitian Americans who are, often speaking on behalf of Haiti and never saying the fucking thing that we actually want them to say, right? So I just want to say that.
Yeah.
I can't put it all on the US.
No, we glad you said it. Yeah.
Fuck the U.S. still. We know that neocolonialism exists.
Fuck the U.S. still.
Yeah.
But I just want to say, right, that there are these like sellout Negroes who are running that place that we can't give a free pass to, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Jovenel just said last week, 2 weeks ago, he was like, they, not the white people, the imperialists he keeps sitting at the table with, who keep telling him what to do, but they, right, the opposition, are fighting him because he's some kind of reincarnation of Dessalines.
What? That's how.
Yeah, people just like, oh, they hate me because, they've been lying to us and manipulating us since the assassination of Dessalines. And I'm going, wait, who's the they now? Like, you're?
Dessalines should come back and slap the shit out of him. Dessalines should just
what I'm saying?
come back and chase him all the way through hell.
But they're using that whole like, oh, we're black and they're crushing us to justify actually them crushing these other black people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Haitians have actually said that on the street. I've been at the protest and people were like, we are especially pissed because that Negro looks just like us.
That's right. So
That's what they said, right? When Michel Makili was in power, he's a little light, bright like you a little bit, Kamau.
You mean like Kalonji? You mean Kalonji?
We expect
I'm
that
dark
from
brown.
that guy, right?
he sort of act like him too. This is my show. Anyway.
So
No, but when that guy was in power, people associated him with, right, the sort of, predominantly light-skinned class of bourgeois people.
It's Kamau's cousin.
hey.
Right. And then when this guy came to power, people in the street were literally like, no, we are especially pissed at that one. Because it shouldn't have been you.
Well, we
you
pissed
were
at him too.
A peasant man from whatever small town that you should have known better.
Yeah.
Fuck him. I hope the people burn his ass down.
So,
and, you know what I'm saying?
So, Dr. Prosper, we want to thank you so much for coming on. We want to have you back because I want to get further into this discussion of Aristide, who I thought was a real radical leader who deserves far more credit. But we'll get into that later. I'm going to throw that one in there a little later. Yeah. Do you have, I know you don't do a lot of social media, but is there a place where folks, if they want to find you, follow your scholarship, hear more about what's happening in Haiti, that they can find you?
Yes, I mean, I am on Facebook. I know that's real old school. Everybody's moved on. I do have Twitter. Mamyrah Prosper, my name is the handle. So I do tweet occasionally, but I'm going to work on that.
You should.
I'm going to work on this social media profile thing.
True.
Get with the time.
We definitely appreciate you coming out. Looking forward to seeing you back on. And,
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for correcting me on Kubetet Boule Kai. And
that's it. That's exactly it.
I had it right the first time, but you cut me off.
Oh,
but anyway.
Renegade Culture, y'all. We be back.
Yeah.
I ain't got shit else to do, so. And them niggas too, this don't exclude you. I won't duck it. Only thing worse than a bitch nigga is these pretty motherfuckers. Dressing the part with no heart, getting hot niggas to rap with them. So the fuck what? A lot of whack niggas with platinum. While you on tour, your girls getting manicures. Better leave security. I might knock on your door and get yours. Don't put it past me. Ask Sean Apache how many I left in stitches. Now let me get back to these bitches.
What's that? Renegade Culture's in the building.
We back, you know what I'm saying?
Yo, it's a hardcore show. We had what's his name?
Dr. Mamyrah Prosper.
Dr. Mamyrah Prosper.
We broke it down on Haiti and shit like that.
Broke it all the way down. My man over here, Naka was admiring her sweater. Motherfucker said her sweater was adorable.
Adorable.
Like, what the hell?
S'il vous plaît.
S'il vous plaît. What the fuck is
S'il vous
that?
plaît. That's French. He don't know.
That's French.
He actually asked her if she spoke Haitian.
Exactly.
Nobody
said, do you
That's kind of embarrassing.
you say it in Haitian? What the fuck does that mean?
French. He's like, you speak Haitian? It's like,
Nigga went to Morris Brown, man.
Here we
I
go
was gonna
again.
mention that, Kamau, man. I said, let that go. Let that go, man.
Let that go.
Well, there you go.
Whatever, man.
Now you sit over there smiling.
Anyway, man.
Looking like you went to Morris Brown.
We got our mans in the building.
Whoa.
Okay.
Who we got in the building?
Okay, the way you said, I thought you about doing it. This brother right here got at least a dozen albums. He said 10, but I'd say I'm predicting the dozen. Goddamn it! I own about 9.5 of them motherfuckers. Anyway, this brother right here. Since you always talking about how I first met, we first met in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Doing work around political prisoners.
All right.
When I first met him, he didn't have no goddamn tattoos on his face. In fact, I think he was educated at the time. You know what I'm saying? Not an educated like the ear doctor, because he's slow. But anyway, brother right here, he's been rocking for quite a while. All kinds of projects dropping. I think you dropped 4 projects last year. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You've seen him all over the globe, literally.
That's right. That's
you know
right.
what I'm saying? Several different groups, several different projects. Most notably known for the DJ, official tour DJ for Dead Prez. I want y'all to give it up for my man, Mike Flo in the building.
How you feeling, brother? You doing okay?
Man, I'm great, man. How y'all feeling?
Man,
doing good.
We're live on arrival, man. We up in this hot ass booth and shit. You know what I'm saying? We trying to act like we ain't burning the fuck up, but you know we gonna play it off like we are.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Fake it till you make it, man.
No
What
doubt.
up?
So you on the planet Brooklyn, man. What's happening in Brooklyn these days?
Man, shit is New York is New York, but it's shit weird, man. Like
It's like 5 black people left in Brooklyn in Bed-Stuy.
Nah, well, that part, but I mean, it's over 8 million people in New York. So although things in certain cities are kind of slower, it's still New York. And so maybe you don't see as many, but you see maybe 4 million people, which seems weird. It seems like it's empty.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Today's an important day too. I would be remiss if I don't shout out Amadou Diallo, who was murdered by the fucking police, the pigs, in 1999. You know what I'm saying? 41 shots.
That's right.
Because he had a wallet. You understand what I'm saying? So we can never forget Amadou because of the fact that he predated a lot of these social media murders, more or less. So, rise in power, Amadou Diallo. But anyway, man, tell us about some of these new projects you got going on, man.
Man, so, for me, this whole event in time has given me the absolute time, the actual time to write and really see the projects through. So I deemed it really necessary, man, to keep your mind free. I'm an advocate for free thought. And so I released a Stay Dangerous trilogy, parts 1, 2, and 3, all produced by Lex Boogie from the Bronx.
No doubt.
And so the Stay Dangerous really is about that. It's about free thought. It's about challenging the Associated Press. It's about critical thinking and saying no if you have to, saying yes to something if you have to. Any of those things can be deemed as revolutionary and dangerous even at times. Even advocating for yourself can be dangerous. So, and it's a fighter's term. Obviously, that even in that 11th round, that 12th round, and the fighter may have been taking shots the whole fight, that right hand or that left hook he got is still significant and he's still dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but I did 3 of those. I did, before the Stay Dangerous trilogy, I did a project called Dogon, which was an ode to the mystery tribe out of Mali in West Africa. I did that in conjunction with my man Ty Upgrade Roten. He's in Atlanta. So I've been doing these theme albums, and I like dealing with other producers. That way I don't have to make the beats and I can just have fun and write them. And then after the Stay Dangerous trilogy, my most recent, well, not most recent, but after that, the Ogun project came out. Ogun is an epic warrior's tale. It's a suite. It's 3 songs, but it's like a whole movie. And that's with Lex Boogie from the Bronx. And most recently, me and Ty Upgrade hooked up again to do a full length called Forest Frolics. And it's like a trippy, a psychedelic ride. And that's out. Those are the projects that I put out. But right on the heels of the Stay Dangerous shit, I put out a project only for SoundCloud, and it's called Forward. And I did that in conjunction with Unseen FM out of DC, and it's kind of like jungle drum and bass, but real rap, real fly nigga rap shit on top of that, and it's crazy and it's free.
Word.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Yo, Mike, I know you can't wait to get in front of a crowd and DJ again, man.
Oh my gosh, you ain't telling, bro. I mean, things have picked up some. I have some private clients that I do some stuff with. I got some stuff coming up next week here in New York as things are, but it's just, it's weird. You know what I'm saying? We ain't did no tours, no Dead Prez shit. So I've just been writing and recording, and it's giving me the time to do that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But yeah, I it's very sparingly now that I even get a chance to DJ.
You know, the ill shit about it, I want to say that there's not too often you can find a DJ who's just as dope as an MC, or an MC is just as dope as a DJ. You know what I mean? So I definitely want to salute you on that. And also,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and one thing, you know, whenever I ever called you, you always came through. So we appreciate that. Every fucking hip hop project the FTP movement has done, Mike Flow has been involved. You know what I'm saying? From Rap to
Absolutely.
Siafu, Food, Clothes, Shelter.
You already know.
All day. You know what I'm saying? So definitely, you know, wasn't no way we're gonna do Renegade Culture and not have you up on it. Matter of fact, you was on the last podcast we had with AJ, Contraband Classified. So definitely.
I appreciate the opportunities, man. I appreciate building with real people. You know what I'm saying? And nowadays it's weird, man. You might not even see faces. I'm just happy I see faces. And motherfuckers sound like they self and shit. It's the little thing.
We talked about a little bit. You know, you've been prolific as a writer and putting out material. Where do you think that comes from? Like some people, artists, it takes them 2 years to make one piece of good artwork, and you put it out consistently. Why do you think that is?
I think it's because I use life as a springboard for my inspiration. So I'm never really having like writer's blocks and things, because as life is happening, I am chronicling my journey. And so I always have things on my mind. I feel like people are more alike than different. And so if it's on my mind, chances are it's on yours. I see myself in you, and I make those songs. So, I mean, really, and so I start, the way my process is, I start a thought. Like I could be out, man, and hear a conversation, and I'm like, fuck, I bet other people have had that conversation. How do I feel about the conversation? And I'll put a note in my phone. And then I'll go back to multitasking and doing a multitude of other things. And then when I feel creative, then I'll go back into that note space, and then I'll see if I can investigate those thoughts even more. And then before you know it, a fucking song, 1 turns into 4, 4 is 7, and then it's done.
Word.
I don't be overthinking this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I let it come as it comes, and I don't censor myself. And I'm just really want to be present in it. And because I'm present in it, once I get started, I can finish it really, really quickly.
Well, we're looking forward to this new project with Lex Boogie, because of the fact that shout out to Lex Boogie. Lex Boogie is definitely
shout out to Lex Boogie from the
unsung gorillas up in this motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Who
Lex is a problem.
Man, listen, man. He don't play the goddamn lotto. He don't fuck around. You know what I'm saying? Him and me keeping it hard body.
Yeah.
What we want to do, we got a tradition here. We got 2 things we want to do. One, when we come back on the joint, the last several artists that we've had come through here, they had to drop some bars. We had everybody from Rock to speech from Arrested Development, John Robinson, you know what I'm saying, Felipe Luciano, you know what I'm saying, wise, intelligent, Killer Mike, then you do the bars. But yeah, everybody's came through and wrecked this motherfucker, so we want to make sure that you get that. But before, we're going to go to a quick break, but before we do that, we have another tradition we do called Naka's Nonsense. And we call it was originally called the bold question, but my man, the ear doctor, or Naka, his shit be so motherfucking nonsensical that we had to goddamn call that motherfucker Naka's Nonsense. See what I'm saying?
And I think he broke the bowl, and so now we're dealing with this 8 ball.
He broke the bowl?
I think so, because he's got this 8 ball up in here now.
Oh, so this shit like a...
Look like Naka's head.
Man, just,
you know what
just
I'm saying?
take the goddamn
Shit like
question
a
out.
black version of your head.
So, brother, there's a lot of questions up in here. I'm going to dig down
I
in
hope
here
your
deep.
hand gets stuck.
Fuck you, man. So we're going to read the question off, and when we come back from our break, we're going to ask you to give us an answer, all right?
Okay, bet.
Keep in mind, it's some nonsense, so, you know.
Because I don't even... I'm looking at this, and I'm like, I'm embarrassed.
They
to
talking
even
about,
ask
how did you have feet? What the fuck?
How did you make money as a teenager? I'm not sure why that's relevant to you in
the fuck
particular.
you
Got nothing to do with your music.
R. Kelly's son or
I don't
somebody.
know
I don't know.
about some like Street Life, whatever it is. When we come back with Renegade Culture.
Hey, he wrote it like this.
bet.
When he wrote it, he's like, how did you make money as a teenager? Good.
So when we come back, yo, we're gonna have you answer that question and hopefully drop a few bars. Renegade Culture, yo.
Yo, I recommend that you recognize and wipe that shit from out your eyes so that you can see. Bust the rhymes. Yo, there's no need for me to clarify. Feel my shit and watch me purify. Winning races, crazy, stupid in different places. Back to basics, 3 dimensions all in your faces. I'm turning terrible as I burst. All of a sudden, it's bust the rhymes be bugging. How many suckers ain't saying nothing?
What's happening, Renegade Culture in the building?
You know what I'm saying? We back with our special guest, brother Mike Flow.
Mike Flow's in the building.
Yeah.
Hey, sir, Kamau always calls somebody brother. It sounds funny calling you
Call somebody
brother Mike Flow.
Well, nobody says brother Mike Flow. I saw you stand with that shirt on and shit like that.
I like that.
Yo, brother Mike, let's get back. And
Brother
I like
Mike.
saying brother. So we got this dumbass question.
It's a dumbass question.
Our dumbass producer, but we're going to have you answer it anyway.
Yes.
So how did you make your money as a teenager?
I used to cut hair as a teenager.
Okay.
I had, like, my mom had some friends, and she'd be like, yo, I asked her for some money, and she'd be like, well, I'm not giving you no money, but you can cut my friend hair, and he'll pay you.
Oh, wow.
And I started, real talk, I started cutting grown men's hair with no practice.
Oh.
But I just had supreme confidence in myself, and I never fucked anybody's hair up. I was good. My mom was a beautician. I had watched her like deal in hair in general, and they would pay me good. You know, they all had like little kicking pads. You know what I'm saying? So it really was shit to cut.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker give you $20, and it's like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? That's how I made my money.
They must have really liked your mom, because goddamn it, you and me cut my goddamn practicing on my shit. Goddamn it.
They really liked my mom.
Okay.
They was paying me, and they was every time they would come by, I would cut
You cut their hair?
Yeah, the ear doctor still got a little piece of patch on his head. Right? Oh, that's a mole. My bad.
God damn.
Somebody skipped the spot. Anyway.
So, brother Mike.
Brother
I'm
Mike.
gonna do it all the way now. Now it's just gonna be like, that's your name. You know what I'm saying?
R.I.P. Brother Mike in Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
R.I.P. Brother Mike.
True.
Poetry Chicago.
So I know you said you got new projects coming out. You got projects already hit. Where can folks pick up your albums and all that kind of stuff?
My shit is streaming everywhere. I didn't produce any physical copies, so Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, fucking Apple, YouTube, you know, all the shits.
Yeah.
Tidal, it's everywhere. I didn't print any physical copies, and that's just what it is. You can stream, but I also encourage people to buy the music, especially any DJs, because although, like, say, if you're running a virtual program like Serato, Serato has a partnership with Tidal, and they have a partnership with SoundCloud. So you can spend anything that's on any of those streaming services. But as a DJ, if you want to make a mix, you can't record songs that you're streaming. You feel me? As a DJ. So although you can stream shit, it's nothing like owning the file.
Yeah.
And so I encourage people to not only stream, But especially if you're a DJ and you need to do something, or you make like, let's say you make graphics with your phone or your computer, and you want to add music to them, you need to own the file. Mm-hmm. So we spend a lot on nothing. So, you know, if you pay $10 for my album, you've probably spent more for less. And I feel like it's $10 worth spending. But yeah, all the streaming shits, I'm on all of them.
All right.
Speaking of that, speaking of streaming and speaking of those sounds, we want to get you to spit a little something in the tradition of Renegade Culture. You know what I'm saying?
That's what y'all do here?
That's how we do out this motherfucker. Listen, hey, look, we gonna see the contract and the motherfucking rider and all that, but that shit got lost in the mail. Our attorney fucked it up, so, you know.
Niggas came over with 40s and blunts.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. You knew.
Some rims, brother. Some rims for you. You know what I'm saying? That kind
I knew Mike knew if nobody else knew.
All right.
Let's see. Here we go.
All right.
This from Ogun. You can get this right now. In the spirit of Ogun, gunmetal gray blacksmiths get in tune. Black owned, Blackstone era El Rukin. Black watch, ex-overseer, pedal to pinky. Iron mic, ironclad, grip of a steel vice. Mind of a steel trap, never forget it twice. Hues of a pewter, maybe tarnish the brass up. True vintage, 1 of 1, tally the cash up, your mask up. My muzzle off, the teeth bite, I might do it. Penetrate the Kevlar, go right through it. Divine fluid, the top seed, this ain't attorney, natural law of the land and need no attorney. Your perceptions don't concern me, I'm not afraid. Wild and untamed, you love the fame, I bodied the game and gave it back, I'm bored with it. Kuji Chagalia, my nigga, I'm born with it. The spirit told me, kill them all and leave a chain. They ridiculed the goon, gotta respect the name. It's unfortunate, same time as necessary. Exoskeleton exits might appear scary.
Flo's in the building. Goons in the building. Fuck what you heard. That's right. Get your head cut off.
Brother Mike Flow.
Yo, that's right. That was hot, yo.
Yes. Hey, he gonna make. Kamau made me say, Brother Mike.
No, yeah. You're coming around. Yo, thank you so much, Mike.
Hold on.
Uh-oh.
Intimidated to meet me. Scared and shook. Too scared to look up and greet me. It's like the hoe and the Mac, the eyes to the flow. Reckless eyeballing like saying you wanna go. So walk on by, bitch. Figure 8. This ain't for the faint at heart. Let's get it straight. And for the record, the right method and work ethic will persevere in times when shit looks hectic. The flow move like a spitting cobra, a strong essence for truth, really a loner. Assertive striker, primal fear, aggression. Tyson-like speed, don't fuck with him's the lesson. See, that's the blessing, your comrade's an animal. Black Panther, Puma type, melanin rich. Recessive rats in research, ain't that a bitch? These devils telling you anything to bait and switch. Fuck a debate, bitch. This ain't your platform. Get the fuck out my face, pussy, in that form. In that order, let's make that the new norm. This ain't that, believe that, you misinformed. Old goon told me to go green, recycle the truth, some of the youth be so green. But all G, you get it from me and that's fine. Destroy and rebuild your fucking mind.
RBG, nigga.
That was hot, yo. Thank you so much, man. Mike Flo, for coming on.
Salute, we appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying?
Stay dangerous out this motherfucker.
That's right, yo.
Stay dangerous, man.
Yeah.
Stay live. Look alive, stay dangerous. Get your back straight.
That's right,
no doubt, brother. Be safe, man. We're going to catch you in a few revs.
Thank y'all for coming out. Another great show, Renegade Culture, yo.
All right, G.
Yeah.
Salute.
All right, power.
Yes, sir, brother.